Swashbucklers, you're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 73. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you for tuning in once again. Episode 73, fun fact about the number 73. In Morse code, 73 is a palindrome. It's dash dash dot 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 dash dash. That's 73 in Morse code. How cool is that, right? And I wanted to make sure that I got all the dots in there because, I don't know, if you leave one dot out, it says something mean about your mother or something. It's weird. It's a foreign language. Anyway, you want to know a different little Morse code thing? You might not know this. I know we got a lot of Disney fans in the audience. If you go to Disneyland and you go to the train station in New Orleans Square, there's a Morse code playing in the little train station over there, and the Morse code is Walt Disney's opening day address at Disneyland. So there you go. If you know Morse code, you can go listen to that. And actually what happened, we're going to go deep. What happened was, originally, it wasn't that. It was something else, and apparently it was a not very nice something else. When they first were putting that part of the attraction in, right? They had the dot, 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 all that kind of stuff happening. And Lillian Disney walked by, Walt's wife. Nobody knew that Lillian knew Morse code. And so whatever the Morse code was saying did not sit well with Lillian, and she made them change it. And they changed it to Walt Disney's opening day address. So there you go. That was way more trivia about Morse code than the number 73. But we have a Disney connection today, so it all makes sense. This is episode 1 of a 2-week run. Is 2 weeks a run? I don't know if 2 weeks is a run, but a 2-week run of Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. Today, my guest is Vince Lozano, who played Jacoby in the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. And with a lot of the characters in those movies, we don't necessarily know the names of the characters because they never mention them necessarily. But if you're not sure who he is, I will have a picture on the show notes that you can see, and you'll see him, and you'll be like, oh, that guy. I remember that guy. That guy's cool. He's the one that says not fair. Not fair, no fair, not fair, something like that. Anyway, we talk about his 2-word line that he had to audition with, and it's a very funny story. It's a story about saying yes to whatever comes up, because those 2 words turned into a lot of acting work for him. So we'll talk about that. Next week on the show, we're going to be talking to Lee Ehrenberg, who played Pintel in the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So that's coming up next week. Make sure that you're all subscribed and all that stuff so you get that episode automatically downloaded to your favorite device, whatever that may be. I'm squeezing this in. It's a busy day. I just got back from my gig in Redding, California, which was fantastic. Sold out house, wonderful. It was the first full length hour show I've done in 3 weeks, because I took a bunch of time off for the holidays. I took 3 weeks off, and it's always weird because you're always like, do I still remember how to do comedy? Because it's a muscle, and if you don't work it out, you start to feel weak. So, show in Reading was great last night. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But I'm squeezing this in. I had to drive 4 hours back home today. I'm doing this, and then I got to go run off and teach some guitar lessons. Speaking of guitar lessons, if you have a yearning to pluck the strings, if you want to become your own pirate musician, you can do that, and I can teach you how. I've been a music teacher for over 20 years, and I've got this new project I'm coming out with that is sort of a very broken down, very simplified way of getting into playing guitar without taking any weird shortcuts that'll come back to haunt you later. But anyway, we're kicking it off with the 30-day guitar challenge. And what that is in 30 days, with just 5 minutes a day, you're going to learn how to play 3 entire songs, good songs, cool songs, and that's it. 30 days, 5 minutes a day, 3 songs. It's great for beginners if you've never touched a guitar before. It's great if you're the type of guy who's been like, oh, I played on and off over the years, but I can't really play a song for whatever reason. Or you just got knowledge you can't put together, things like that. Anyway, if you want to sign up for the 30-day guitar challenge, it's totally free. Just go to underthecrossbones.com/guitar. You can sign up there. It starts January 16th, so do that this week because we're starting it next week, and it's going to be big. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. So, yeah, back from Reading. Killer show. It was wonderful. I remembered how to do comedy. I was very excited about it. And because after 3 weeks, I wonder if I still remember how to, tell jokes with any sort of panache or professionalism. And there was Reading is a very white town, And there were two black guys in the audience, just two. Everybody else was white, two black dudes. And when I have an audience like that, I will check in with the black dudes every once in a while. Not verbally, just visually, make sure everybody's cool, because that can be sometimes uncomfortable. And in the new show that I'm doing, I have 15, 20 minutes of race-based material. Not racist material, there's a difference there. Race-based material, which mostly is jokes about me as a white guy dealing with people of other races. My Asian girlfriend, black folks that I know, things like that, right? So the joke is always on me. But with the politically correct area that I live in, I always want to check in with the folks of color in the crowd to make sure that everybody's cool, right? So there was one guy, like I said, two black guys right there. One was engaged, on board, everything looked cool. Another dude off to stage right didn't look like he was having a good time, right? Got a little smirky at times on his phone a good chunk of the time I was on stage, and I was like, all right, I lost that guy. Maybe I'll find out later what the deal is. And so I did my show, kind of kept visually checking in with that guy. Couldn't get him once or twice, got him to almost sort of crack a smile. And I was like, all right, well, getting through that. And everybody else had a great time. It was a killer show all the way around. But as comics, we tend to focus on the one dude who's not having a good time because we are gluttons for punishment. And it's just, that's the way we work. We always, if there's a dude with his arms crossed, that's who we're going to stare at for the entire show. It's ridiculous. We try not to do it. But anyway, so I finished the show, and I am back at the merchandise table, and I'm just kind of setting up the merch table, and I'm facing it. And from behind me, somebody comes up and goes, "Hey, man, that was a really great show. Had a great time." And I turn around, and there it is. There he is. There's the guy who didn't smile for the entire show. He's smiling now, and he goes, shakes my hand. "Man, that was a really great show. I had a really great time. I want to buy a t-shirt." Now, my first thought in my head was, why didn't you laugh? Why didn't you laugh for the entire show? I did not say that because that would have been too confrontational, and I wanted to sell him a t-shirt. And I'm glad he had a good time. But it was just weird. I'm always weirded out because it happens pretty regularly. I would say once a month, once every other month, I will have a person in the crowd like that who just doesn't react. They just don't laugh. They don't smile. They don't do anything. And then after the show, they come up and they're all grins and shaking my hand, and "You're the best comedian I've ever seen." And it's the weirdest thing in the world. I don't get it, but there it is. So long story short, it's not. Of course, it's too long at this point, but he had a good time. Everybody had a good time, and he bought a shirt. So all was well in the end. If you haven't seen my show yet, I'm coming around a bunch of different places. I will be all over the country this year, but here's what's coming up over the next 3 weeks or so. Monday, January the 16th. That is, Martin Luther King Day? Yes. I will be at the San Jose Improv that night in San Jose, California. That's a competition show, which I'm not super fond of doing, but it's a necessary evil sometimes. And so you get to vote. The audience gets to vote. If you want to come out and vote for me, I have a free guest list. Just email me, Phil at underthecrossbones.com, and I will hook you up with the guest list for that show, Monday the 16th, San Jose Improv. Thursday, January the 19th, I will be headlining at Trek Wine in Novato, California. Friday, January the 20th, I'm headlining at D'Argenzio Winery in Santa Rosa, California. We do a lot of winery gigs out here. Tuesday, January the 24th, I'll be popping into O'Malley's in Mountain View for a short set. And then Friday, January the 27th, I will be headlining the Underdog Wine Bar at Concannon Winery in Livermore, California. Those are all going to be great shows. There's not a dud in the bunch. That's going to be a lot of fun at all those. And like I said, I'm going to be all over the country. I've got Oregon, Washington, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I know all that's coming up. I'll be back in Florida this year for sure. All sorts of things. So just go to underthecrossbones.com, click the tour dates button. You can check it all out. Make sure that you come over and join us on Facebook. The Facebook Under the Crossbones, facebook.com/underthecrossbones. We're having a good time over there, posting up fun stuff. Twitter, we're at Under Crossbones, and of course you can get all the show notes for this show at underthecrossbones.com/073. Oh, you know what? I have one more quick ask for you here. As you know, we've been simulcasting, or I forgot, now I can't even think of the word, but you can also hear this show on Pirate Radio, The Treasure Coast, which is super awesome. And the show seems to be doing very well over there. We were the #1 show on at least part of the station over there last month. And from what I'm told by the station managers, that amounts to streaming and listening people in the 6-digit range, which is awesome. So happy to hear that. But I have no idea who you are necessarily, and I would like to know a little more about you, because that would help me. I would like to know a little bit more about you, because that would help me know how to tell you about things, tour dates or pirate festivals in your area, or just different events in your area, pirate stuff. It would be nice if I know where you are, who you are, that kind of just a little basic stuff. So if you could do me a quick favor, go to underthecrossbones.com/survey, and there is a quick, tiny little survey there. It's only 7 questions. None of them involve math or anything, and it's super easy, and that would help me get to know you and the rest of my audience, so I know where to take the show in the future. Like, for if we're coming to town doing a live Under the Crossbones, I want to know where you are so that I know where to do those. That would be great fun. So anyway, go to underthecrossbones.com/survey and check that out. Okay, so I have yacked long enough. Let's get into my interview with Vince Lozano from Pirates of the Caribbean. Check it out. You were in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Curse of the Black. Curse of the Black Pearl. Jeez, that's going to be great. I can't even get the name of the movie right.
Oh, okay. You can ask it again.
No, that's cool. So, pronounce the name of your character for me in that film, because I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Well, the way we were saying it was Jacoby.
Jacoby. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought that might be it, but I wasn't sure. So you're one of those character actors who, when people see you, they go, oh, it's that guy. You were completely unrecognizable in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, under all that makeup there.
Yeah, pretty much. You can say that. Totally.
How many hours of makeup were you going under each day to get into that stuff?
Oh, man. I would show up, depending, what the schedule is and all that. I show up maybe like 4 a.m, and then I usually be in makeup for about 2.5 hours.
Wow, that's craziness.
And then another 1.5 to 2 hours to take off.
Yeah, definitely. Is that one of the more heavily made up parts that you've done?
By far.
Yeah.
By far. No comparison. The this other movie I did called Born, which was kind of like a horror film. The only worst part about that was they had to do a head cast. So you're sitting there for a couple hours and they're putting that algae, making up the cast of the head and yada yada. But other than that, yeah, this I've had some intense makeup, but nothing comes as close as Pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates did.
Oh, that sounds tedious as can be. Tell me a little bit about the process of getting that part. Tell me how the audition went and that kind of thing.
I was the last guy cast.
Oh.
As far as I know, I guess they couldn't find. I don't want to say they couldn't find someone, but I guess maybe Gore had a very specific look and idea of what he wanted. When I say Gore Verbinski, the director, he was very, very specific on each person that he cast for Jeffrey Rush's crew, Barbossa's crew.
Right.
And he wanted them, each one, to stand out individually and have their own personality, and it truly comes out in the film. So basically, I came in and had one word for the first audition. I think it was one word, which was or 2 words, no fair.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, whatever, threw it away. And then I mean, I don't know how many people they saw. They must have saw a few hundred people, maybe 500, maybe more for that. Those 2 words was the audition. So then I get a call, and they're like, all right, you got a call back for this. I'm like, really, a call back? I was laughing because I go, it's 2 words.
Right.
So I'm cracking up, and I got to come back for a callback. I go, okay, But the theme was what casting told my agent was, look, we know we want him to come back, but this could turn out to be a few weeks of work. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I went back, and they wanted me to improvise this time around. They wanted me to say the line plus improvise, and that's when they said I had the bombs and all that. So then I improvised and you know, made up a bunch of lines, pirate stuff, you know, and one of them, a couple of those lines did make it into the movie, and so it was cool, you know. So I did that, and then the next day, that's when I got the call that I booked it. At the callback, there was like 5 of us, and we were all completely different. And so the process of the callback was a little longer because we were improvising. And I love to improvise, so that's, you know, when it comes to my foundation of acting, improv is a big part of it. Able to think on your feet and you know, get in contact with your emotional life and all that, and just have fun, you know.
Sure.
And that's what I did. So that was basically the process of it. And then I was supposed to work a few weeks on it, and we were down here at the Queen Mary shooting the sequence with when we're on top of the ship and where we become ghosts for the first time, where we meet Keira Knightley. So we shot all that over here near the Queen Mary. I can't remember that big dome, the Hughes, where what's his name, Howard Hughes had his wooden plane or goose or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So we shot in that dome. A lot of sequences where we become ghostly. So then we were at lunch, and you know, I was having fun doing my thing, you know, on set, and then Gore comes up to me and says, "Hey man, you're doing a great job, you know. I'm going to have you throughout the movie." So a few weeks turned into 5 months of work. So that's why I said, you know, there's no small part, only small actors. So you never know where what that one line is you know, can lead to, you know. So if I would have had an ego and said, I'm not going to go audition for 2 words or whatever, and you know, hey, I would have missed out on this great opportunity and a great franchise and all the great friends that I made on this movie, who I'm still friends with today.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a great argument for saying yes to anything that comes your way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, sometimes in life, you know, we let our egos get in the way and think we're too good for it. And really, you never know what the universe has in store for us, what's behind that waiting, you know? And so sometimes, you know, it's best just to put it beside you and do what you want to love to do. And I mean, if it's acting or playing sports or whatever it is, you know, do it to the best of your ability and give that 100%. And you never know what it can lead to, you know?
Yep.
So who would have known if I would have said no to that? You know, I would have missed out on so many great friends that I made on that movie, and also the great time that we had making it too, you know?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so a lot of your character is in the film really CGI. Were you doing the body work for the CGI? Did they have you hooked up to the body sensors and things?
Well, that's true and not true.
Okay.
The only time my character is CGI is when I become a skeletal.
Right. Yeah.
Every other time you see me, that's me. You know, throughout the movie. What that process is basically we went. The whole technology is changing now because it's been like 12 years now.
Sure, yeah, crazy
since we've done the movie. I think 12 years or 13 years. I lost track. But back then we went to a place called I think it's called Giant or something like that. Giant. And we got a full body scan of who we are and how we look and all that. And then basically, we would shoot the sequence as I am, you know, as me.
Right.
And then I guess, you know, they drawed it in later where we're supposed to be ghostly or whatever, and took those images and put it in place, you know, where we popped into the moonlight and when we did pop in, which was really awesome and cool.
Yeah, that's
cool. Ahead of its time.
Did you have to change your approach as an actor, knowing that it wouldn't be necessarily you seen on the screen? Did you have to, do anything different than you normally would?
No, because I did everything the way I would regardless, because all my body movement and all that ended up on screen. So if I would have changed anything,
mm-hmm.
it wouldn't look real, So it was best to go out there and do it the way you would normally do it and don't change anything at all. And no, I just did it the way I would, and every rehearsal and every take that we did, and we did a lot of takes, I can guarantee you on that.
Was there
tiring.
Yeah, I'll bet. Was there any sort of sense on the set at the time that the movie would be as big as it was? Because I've spoken with some of the other people in the crew and things, and they said that they didn't really know that it was going to be a big thing because it was coming right after. I think it came pretty close after the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie that was a total bomb. Did you get any sense that it would be as big as it was?
No, I had no idea. I didn't even know what Pirates of the Caribbean ride was, to be honest with you. I just knew it was at Disneyland, and I went on it a long time ago, but that was it. I was like, Pirates of what? They did Haunted Mansion, now they're doing Pirates of the Caribbean. But I will say this, when I saw the trailer, when we were in the Caribbean and we saw the trailer for the first time, I think we were at maybe a Super Bowl party. I think it was a Super Bowl party, and it was the Buccaneers versus the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was. And right before that, they premiered the trailer just for cast and crew that they were going to show in the theaters and TV. And I think when everybody saw that trailer, it completely changed everybody's perspective on this movie. They were like, wow, this is a lot bigger than we thought.
Yeah.
And it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so much of it that you don't see when you're on the set, especially when they're going to be doing a lot with CGI and things like that. You're not seeing the whole thing ever put together.
No, you don't. And it's true. We had no idea. We were all having fun, but we had no idea how big or how the following that the ride had, and all these other, this whole subculture of pirates out there, pirate groups, pirate clubs, pirate guilds, all over the United States and all over the world that, really got behind this movie. I mean, really this movie, not so much the other films that have come out and failed as pirate movies, but this one really pulled in that whole crowd and group, and they loved it.
Yeah, certainly, and a lot of the current pirate stuff was really started around that movie, because a lot of the people that I talk to on this show, I go, how'd you get into pirates? And they're like, Pirates of the Caribbean, the first movie. That's where I figured it out. So it really has left a lasting impression on all the people that are now into that kind of fandom and lifestyle, which I think is really cool.
It is. Are you into that lifestyle? I guess you are, right?
I am. Yeah.
You got the long hair and all that going on, so you look like a pirate.
Yeah. I was a fan from the ride since I was a kid. That was where I kind of got into it, and so when the movie came out, I was looking forward to it, and also kind of scared that they were going to mess it up, but they didn't, so that was good. But the movie really kicked it up a notch. And I don't do a lot of this stuff. I go to a festival once in a while and stuff, but I am much more of an observer of it and interested in the history and the that kind of stuff. But let's go back a little bit. Tell me a little bit about how you got started in acting. What made you want to be an actor?
What made me be an actor? I don't know, to be honest. I guess if I was always intrigued with movies, and as a kid, so I used to watch a lot of black and white movies, and but at heart I was a jock. I was I played basketball, I played baseball,
Okay.
I played football, I boxed, I kickboxed. So I was a total jock growing up. So I had no interest in drama in high school or anything like that. But what happened was I ended up getting into street dancing where I used to be a break dancer.
Okay.
And we had a little crew, and we were pretty good, and we won a lot of contests, and then we toured a little bit with the Fat Boys, Run DMC, and
Nice.
Curtis Blow, and when I was a kid, and that so happened to be in just in Ohio. We did a few shows with them, and so from that, I took my first acting class, and I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I got a monologue. This person, the acting teacher gave me a monologue, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this, but I'll do it. And then I go, I'm kind of digging this, and I did a couple classes, and I kept going, and then there was a part in a play on the east side of Cleveland at this well-known theater called Caribou House. It's an African-American theater company, and they've been around since the early, I don't know, maybe 1920s, 1930s. They have a huge backing, and it's really, really, really a popular theater. So they were trying to find a kid that could dance, play basketball, and could act.
Okay.
And they were having a hard time finding that person. So somebody recommended me. I came in and auditioned, and I got the lead in the play. And from then on, I was doing a lot of leads in plays back in Cleveland. And then I decided, well, you know what? Let's go test it out in the big city. And then I came to LA, went to school for a little while at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, which was okay. Got my feet wet out here, but
yeah,
it was when I really got into an acting studio here in LA, where I really grew as an actor and really found my foundation and what I needed to become a true and real and organic actor, and found what acting truly meant.
Right.
When I jumped in this acting studio, and so that's how I got into it.
That's great.
From then on, I just kept going.
Yeah. And the breakdancing is an interesting entree into it, because I think we're probably about the same age. I remember that world pretty well, because I was doing the same thing, going out and collecting really good pieces of cardboard to breakdance on. And it's because usually when you hear about a jock that gets into acting, it's, I snuck into the theater and I didn't tell my friends what I was doing and that kind of thing. But the breakdancing was not considered theatery at all. It was actually something that the cool jockey kids did, and I think that's an interesting entree into it. I mean, did you catch any flack from your jockey friends when you went into acting after that?
No, not at all,
yeah.
Actually. But then again, I really didn't tell anybody. So not even my family knew I was acting.
Oh, really?
So yeah. I was getting these leads in these plays. I wasn't even telling anybody. Not till I said, well, I think I'm gonna move to California. Move to California for what? And I said, they're like, really? I go, yeah. And then I showed them press clippings. Wow, we didn't know you were doing all this. I kind of kept it to myself, and just to see if I could do it. And then I was able to do it. And the great thing about the street dance, it did get me into dancing. So I was able to. I started taking jazz classes, and which built a pretty good foundation with my dancing. I was always dancing anyway, so it didn't really matter. In my house, I grew up dancing, so we were doing a lot of dancing in my house.
Okay.
so it was a lot of fun. So it was great to segue into break dancing and the hip hop. Well, break dancing and the hip hop and the jazz, and then I took 2 weeks of ballet, but I didn't like it, and that was it with ballet. I never went back to that.
Yeah, I never could hang with ballet either. I don't dance at all, but even just going to the ballet, I'm like, why is there no sound coming from the stage? It's weird. Especially, you know, enjoying theater, there's lots of sound coming from the stage, and ballet is always so weird because all you hear is shush, shush, shush.
Right.
So,
definitely.
So then you get to LA, and you're which studio was it that you were studying at in LA?
It's no longer around. It was called or is it around? It was called Moment to Moment Studio.
Okay.
So it was kind of Meisner based, but it went beyond. I don't know if you know anything about acting coaches, but forms of acting. But Meisner is very organic, using a lot of you, but not methody. You know, you're here, present, right in the moment.
Right. And that uses there's a lot of movement exercises and things like that.
Not really. It's more improv style, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not really based on any movement. It's more about using all your issues, you know, meaning owning your issues that you have, whatever. Like if you're a Christian, you own your being a Christian, so you could go out and kill people on the movie, basically, you know, and use that foundation with being able, so that way it gives you a dynamic. to give it, you know, just to give it a quick reference, you know.
Right. That's funny. And so I was looking over your IMDb resume and things like that, and you work a lot. You got a ton of stuff on there. Even in your currently in production and filming and finishing, there was 5 or 6 different things there. And was there ever a point where? At what point did you say, okay, I've got a handle on this kind of, and I'm an actor now? And because it didn't look like there was like a big break in there. Was there a big break that you kind of thought of it that way?
I would just say it's been gradual. You know, I don't think there's anything out there that really put me over the top. I think just being consistent and doing the work and you know, working on your craft and always trying to improve your craft. Even today, you know, I still jump in class and work out, you know, because I think, I mean, it's, you know, it's not to sound cliche, but it's like going to the gym, you know. Once you stop going to the gym, you lose some of that muscle.
Right. And
as an actor, you know, you lose some of that muscle memory if you're not in the class and working on your craft every day. So for me, I mean, to me, it's, you know, I'm still out here grinding it out, you know, and yeah, I knock on wood. I've been fortunate that I've worked quite a bit, and knock on wood that I continue to work quite a bit till I'm 100 years old.
Yep.
And you got to roll me in a wheelchair.
The gym analogy absolutely makes sense to me. I'm a comedian. That's what I do for a living. And so it's the same exact thing. If I'm not on stage for a week, I start to freak out. And then I feel really rusty when I do get back on stage. So, you know, my girlfriend's always asking me, why are you driving all this way to go do 5 minutes on comedy? It's like, because I have to, and you need an audience for it. In that, I mean, do you find it's different training in acting to keep your chops together in a class situation versus being on the set? Is it more effective being on a set to keep those chops sharp?
Yeah, here's what I tell anybody that wants to be an actor. Your acting class should be way more difficult than being on set.
Okay.
So that way, when you show up on set, it's a piece of cake. You know, so meaning you're preparing, you're rehearsing for the Super Bowl, you know, for that big game,
right,
in your life. So that big game is when you show up on set, you know, because it may be your first time showing up, maybe it's your 100th time, but you know, it should be that this is second nature to you, and you just show up and you're loving what you do, and everything falls in place. You know where you got to stand, you know what you got to do, you know your lines, you're prepped and ready to go. But class should be way more difficult than being on set. I mean, they should give you my first acting class here. What I was saying in this acting studio, I would get 6-page scenes. You know, I mean, wow, man, that's a lot of lines. You know, a lot of that. And there were semi-French plays that we would do scenes from. But you know what? When I look back on it, thank God I got that, because now when I get 2 or 3 pages, I learn them quick. I understand it, and I know what I got to do. Because when you're on set, they move fast.
Sure.
You know, they don't play around anymore, because a lot of things are shot digitally now.
Right.
So compared to back then when they were shooting film and moving lights here, it would take all day. No, they're moving quick.
Yep.
So you got to be on top of your game, and you can never take it for granted. So I would definitely say acting class should be a lot harder than being on set.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it, definitely.
And you should be a little intimidated going to class too. I remember, that acting class was so intense that sometimes I would have butterflies in my stomach. Man, I gotta go to class with it. Oh man, my stomach, I don't know if I want to go, because when I say this class was intense, it was intense, because you were all constantly hold the mirror to your face, meaning, you had to deal with your pain. You had to deal with your truth that was in front of you. So meaning you had to own all that to get to that next level. And, that's why I say, it depends the type of actor you want to be. Do you want to be an actor that tells a story, or you want to be an actor that lives a story? Right. So it's your choice. And when people see scenes on film or whatever, what they gravitate towards, they're usually gravitating towards somebody that's living the story, because they can feel it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's that much more naturalistic style of acting that we expect now. If you can tell when somebody's faking it, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you working on these days? What's on the current platter?
Yeah, I just recently did an episode of Training Day, which is coming out next year in 2017. And then in 2 weeks, I'll be shooting a movie that I'm co-producing, and also one of the leads in, called Christmas Eve.
Nice.
Which is like I call it like a poor man's version of Crash, but it takes place at Christmas.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Are you doing that one independently?
Yes.
Great. Well, we'll definitely be looking out for that.
So that's what I'm doing right now.
Great. Where's a good place for people to keep up with what you're doing online?
They can follow me on my Facebook page at Vince Lozano, or on my website, vincelozano.com. Or they can follow me on Instagram, Vince Lozano, what is it, 21? Yeah, okay. Vince Lozano 21 on Instagram. And I might as well put Twitter out there too, and I'm Vince Lozano Twitter.
Okay.
At Vince Lozano Twitter, yeah. So there you go.
Cool. We'll get those all linked up on the show notes. Well, Vince, this has been really fun. Is there anything I didn't ask you about that you want people to know?
No, I think you covered everything.
Great. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. It was real fun talking to you.
Same here, man.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right. I hope we can talk again soon.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. That was fun.
All righty. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And there it is, friends. That is my interview with Vince Lozano, Jacoby from Pirates of the Caribbean. And that was fun, was it not? Yeah, it was super fun. And next week, we're going to have Lee Ehrenberg on, some more Pirates of the Caribbean action. And that's all good. You can find Vince Lozano on Twitter, twitter.com/Vince Lozano. That's pretty easy, right? And the other places that he mentioned on there. If you are digging the show, are you digging the show? I hope you are. You can go to the support page, underthecrossbones.com/support. There's a little donate box there. Put any amount of money you feel appropriate in there. There's also an Amazon banner. Click the Amazon banner. Go buy yourself something nice. Amazon kicks me back a little something. Doesn't cost you anything extra. A nice way to support the show. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, you can also find the information for that on the support page right there. And that would be awesome if you have a product or service that you would like to promote to a pirate audience. For instance, how's that for a segue? Is that a segue? I don't know if that was probably not a good segue. Anyway, heads up, Texas Pirates, you ready? And anyone else in the vicinity of Grand Prairie, Texas. Mark your calendars for Saturday, February the 11th for Pirates on the Prairie 6. This is an annual concert it's hosted and headlined by the Bilge Pumps, who you've heard on this show last week, in fact. And they'll be bringing their fun-drenched show full of comedy and music and all sorts of good stuff to the Uptown Theater there in Grand Prairie, Texas. You can catch my talk with Craig Lutke of the Bilge Pumps on episode 53 of Under the Crossbones. That's fun. Also performing on the Pirates of the Prairie 6 will be Pride of Bedlam. Yes, another huge favorite of the Texas pirate scene. And I talked to Dane Bennett from Pride of Bedlam on episode 59, so you can hear that talk over there. So we got the Bilge Pumps, which is going to be awesome. We've got Pride of Bedlam, which is going to be awesome. And before the show, you get to hear some salty pirate poetry from Sea Dog Slam in the lobby. Tickets are just $12, $5 for the kiddies in this family-friendly show. $5 for the kids, that's super cheap. You can't even get them a Happy Meal for $5 these days. Make sure to get your tickets before this puppy sells out, because it will, and you can get those tickets by going to underthecrossbones.com/bilge. That's underthecrossbones.com/bilge. That's Pirates on the Prairie 6 featuring the Bilge Pumps, Pride of Bedlam, and Sea Dog Slam on February 11th at the Uptown Theater in Grand Prairie, Texas. And you can get those tickets, $12 and $5 at underthecrossbones.com/bilge. Yeah, that's going to be so fun, man. It's going to be really great. Under the Crossbones, also sponsored by Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast, WKKC-DB, playing the best music and Pirate Talk Radio. Listen to this show, Under the Crossbones, on both their stations. Just go to just go to pirateradioofthetreasurecoast.com or pirateradiotc.com, and don't forget to download their apps, which is the Pirate Radio Treasure Coast app for the music station and Pirate Radio Talk for the talk station. You can hear new episodes the latest episodes of Under the Crossbones there on Sunday mornings, and back episodes on the talk station throughout the week. So that's all great. We're going to do some comedy music today. I got an ebook for you real quick, though. Alexander Squemlin's Pirates of Panama. That's free. Make sure you pick that up. If you haven't read it, it's fantastic. You can go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the free ebook button, and check that out. If you're out and about and all you got is your phone, just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. That's the word pirate and your email address. Text it to 94253. That'll kick you back a little link to download it, and it will be all good. All right, so let's dig into the comedy music. We got comedy today from my pal Paco Romain, who is one of the best comics out of San Francisco. You've heard him on NPR. He's been voted for a bunch of awards and things like that. Dude is funny. So we're going to hear from Paco Romain. Music today from Pride of Bedlam, right? Because they're coming up on Pirates of the Prairie 6. Thought we'd play some Pride of Bedlam. So we're going to hear Strike the Bell by Pride of Bedlam. All right? Let's see. Anything else? Nope. I'm going to shut up and play some comedy and some music. So here we go. Comedy from Paco Romain, and then we'll hear Strike the Bell by Pride of Bedlam. Enjoy.
My mom's cool, though. Mom's cool. She's very liberal. She's so liberal, in fact, she was pissed when she found out I wasn't gay. She always wanted a gay son. But she was super happy when I moved to San Francisco. Oh, my gosh, was she happy when I moved to San Francisco. And I said, Mom, just because you moved to San Francisco doesn't mean you're just going to become gay. You know, it doesn't just happen like that. It's not like when you're flying in SFO, the pilot gets on the intercom's like, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be landing in SFO in 20 minutes. If you could please bring out your glitter and rainbows and set your dick to an upright and locked position. Just found out today, though, that Florida legalized gay marriage. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. I support gay marriage for all kinds of reasons. There's all kinds of reasons to support gay marriage. You should be able to marry whomever you want. Tall, skinny, black, white, purple. It doesn't really matter if they're the same gender as you or not. You should be able to marry whomever you want. I support gay marriage for all kinds of... The main reason, though, that I support gay marriage is because I cannot wait to watch Gay Divorce Court on TV. You guys with me on that? Do you feel that, San Francisco? Yeah, that's going to just be special. That's going to be fantastic. Just all the drama that's going to happen on Gay Divorce Court. Can you imagine Gay Divorce Court Vallejo or something? Like what's going to be on that show? Or, welcome to Gay Divorce Court Hayward. You know, like, what the... You know, and they're not going to call it Gay Divorce Court either. They're going to call it, oh, hell no! Mm-mm-mm. 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 Mm-mm. No.
Aft on the poop deck, walking all about, there is the second mate, so sturdy and so stout. What is he thinking of? He only knows himself. We wish that he would hurry up and strike the bell, second mate. Let us go below, look away to windward, you see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Down on the main deck, working at the pumps, there is the larboard watch ready for their bunks. Over to windward, they see a great swell. They're wishing that the second mate would strike the bell, second mate. Let us go below, look away to windward, you see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Aft at the wheel, poor Anderson stands, grasping the spokes in his cold mittened hands. Looking at his compass, the course is clear as hell. He's wishing that the second mate would strike the bell, second mate. Let us go below, look away to windward, you see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Aft at the quarterdeck, the gallant captain stands, looking to windward with glasses in his hands. What is he thinking of? We all know damn well. He's thinking more of shortening sails than strike the bell, second mate. Let us go below, look away to windward, you see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell, second mate. Let us go below, look away to windward, you see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell.
And that's our show for today, friends. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. You can get all the show notes for this episode, videos, links, and all sorts of other good stuff at underthecrossbones.com/073. If you want to find out more about Vince Lozano from Pirates of the Caribbean, hit him up on twitter.com/Vince Lozano. He's got all sorts of stuff happening over there. If you want to find out more about our comedian Paco Romaine, go to PacoRomaine.com. Paco, spelled like it sounds. Romaine is R-O-M-A-N-E, not like the lettuce. He's not like the lettuce. PacoRomaine.com. And if you want to find out more about Pride of Bedlam, go to prideofbedlam.com. And, of course, we got, get your tickets for Pirates of the Prairie 6 at utc.underthecrossbones.com/bilge. Pirate Radio The Treasure Coast, go visit them. There's .com. And show notes, we talked about that. Keep leaving those iTunes reviews. Those are always nice. They help us out a whole bunch. And tell your friends. Please tell your friends about the show. That is the best thing that you could ever do for this show. Outside of giving me money when you see me. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll be back next week with Lee Ehrenberg, and I'll see you then.